All right, one of the most common questions we get is, how do I set up my ropes, or how do I anchor my ropes? So obviously we could do full rope length setups. We could do doubled rope setups. We can even set up the ropes where if we're pulling around a post or something like that, it's all kind of bunched up in one area. Or if we're doing some static engagement, I just need sometimes just a section of the rope to statically engage. So that's kind of generally the setups, right? Full length, doubled, kind of wadded up or back fed onto itself. But then specifically with anchoring, I highly, highly recommend getting an anchoring strap or a setup strap. And what you're able to do with this, you could get it from any hardware store, or you can get it from kettlebellkings.com. Boom. And if you get one of these and you have a trusty little carabiner, you can really increase the longevity of your rope. So oftentimes if I put my rope around, let's say this is like a squat rack or something like that, notice it has like a little bit of an edge on it. And clearly this is a stool, but imagine it was a squat rack. These little squared off edges actually start to bite down into your rope and start tearing up your rope. Well, if you spend $100 or $50 or $300 on your rope, you don't want it to be split in half or cut in half because you've doubled it around a squat rack or some sort of rack, or if there's bolts exposed on the floor or something like that, it's going to really tear into your rope. So you might as well buy a much cheaper strap, and then we basically just do a half hitch. So I take, let's say this is the halfway point of my rope if I'm doubling it, or let's say it's the very end of my rope. Same thing, I just do a half hitch. So I make a loop here, I have the two ends on this side, I take those two ends and I slide it through, boom. Now all of that force is now spread through this strap, and then this part of the strap is what I can now hook, whether it's with a carabiner or even tying it off. I can hook it around my squat rack or pull-up bar, or whatever the rack is that you're using. The other thing I could do is, imagine this is a post, right? It's going up. I can also wrap it around that, carabiner it around that, and now I have it around a post. And then what I like to use the most, so oftentimes we see kettlebells, but just like me, you may not have this 1,000-pound kettlebell. I know it's only 200 pounds, but you may not have a heavy enough kettlebell. So what often we'll do is we'll take our strap, we'll anchor it off to a kettlebell, and the kettlebell will be too light, right? It's 16 kilograms or 35 pounds or 50 pounds or something like that. And we get obviously quick adaptations when we use the rope, and then we start actually throwing a bunch of force down the wave, and then it starts tossing the kettlebell around. So then what you can do is, if you can get enough kettlebells grouped together that equals about 200 pounds, that's probably going to be enough of an anchor to hold it down. But if you don't have that, you could go to your local fire department. Every fire department should have sandbags for free. You can go pick up a sandbag just like this. You fill it up with their sand, and then what I do to keep from making a mess is I double bag it with like a kitchen trash bag or something like that, and then I tape it with duct tape. So just duct tape from your regular hardware store. And now what we have is we have dead weight that we can use as an anchor. So if you look at the way that this can be set up, right, I put this strap around, and then I drop this dead weight down. And if I'm super strong, super powerful, maybe I grab another sandbag and throw it on top. And now I've got this dead weight anchor, and it's not going to move anywhere. And it's going to hold fast to whatever surface that you have, because the duct tape tends to be a little bit stickier than if it's just that sandbag canvas. And if it's moving around a little bit, you can get rubber matting, right? Put a little bit of rubber matting below it, and then that keeps it from moving even more. So those are all the different ways to set up your battle ropes. But just don't forget this trusty strap. It's going to make your ropes last way longer.